In the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, hello there, and welcome to another edition of our weekly Star Wars Resistance recap show titled Viva la Resistance. I'm your host for this week, Nico Rigoli, and I'm joined, as always, by Christopher Doman, the master of sound, and Case Cornelese, the master of crappy Skype. How are you guys today?
Woo! Okay, he comes in with a clever intro and he comes in with a nice little zinger, right? Okay, we're off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. I am doing well. This was a great episode. Loved it.
I will quote Boss Nass on your intro. Misa like this because that was it. That was a good intro and it was a good shot you threw my way. Anyway, this was a very good episode. So let's talk about it.
Yes. We are here at episode 18 of Star Wars Resistance titled Descent. And yeah, it's a very literal title, as we'll explain in just a few moments. But basically, we start off with our crew is about to get arrested by the First Order. Or at least they're about to. Most of them escape. Tam does not. She gets captured.
We were wrong. That's interesting.
We were, and I found it interesting that I guess I have to take my words back.
Yeah,
because
I do too.
She was not the one who turned them in. So Tam, for now, you are off the hook.
For the moment. Yeah, but we actually start off this episode right where the last one left off. There is no gap. It really is just we see the exact same shot as we saw last week. So yeah, how do they get out of it? Actually, Bucket helps them out, which is the first time that Bucket has really done I wouldn't say anything, but has played an important role in an episode. For a second, I thought he was done for. Of course, later on we find out that he wasn't. But yeah, then Tam gets captured, the rest gets away, but they do have to hide. And then a lot of interesting stuff happens. So yeah, I was into it from the beginning. The opening scene just set the tone. I was like, okay, let's get into this. Let's be on the edge of my seat once again for the second week in a row. So yeah.
And yes, Tam does get captured. And why does she get captured? It's because she still trusts the authority of the First Order a little too much for her own good. And while everyone else is smart enough to run away, she stays behind and she gets arrested. And why does she get arrested? Because Kaz has finally been found out by everyone to be a spy. Like, there were some people who knew it from the start. Obviously, Yeager, because he was informed from the get-go, Kaz is here to be a spy. But also Tora Doza, she had the biggest hunch, and that hunch was correct. And now the First Order, they found him out. How they found him out, we actually don't really know, but they found him out. We do, because the Fireball had left the station, and they tracked the ship. And
Major Von Rex survived that battle, so he recognized it.
Yep.
That was just a wonderful bit of continuity, I'd say.
Yes. Really is.
Just goes to show that in the spy world, you can't leave any loose ends untied, because when you do, you will be found out. And so they're on the run. Meanwhile, Pyre, he brings in an agent to help sort of sway Tam to give them more information. And we see Tam, the more she finds out about Kaz and how he wasn't who she thought he was, that sort of the heel turn is starting to fully cement.
Yeah,
because of all this information she's getting.
And I also gotta say, I love Agent Tierney. Why do I love her? Because I love villains who can actually convincingly play the role of the good cop. Like, you can tell they're clearly still just a horrible person, but they are great at putting on a facade.
Yeah, and that was
to
also
get what they want.
That was needed in Tam's case because if they had Yeager or Cass there, they would have treated them different. But because they figured out pretty quickly that Tam wasn't like them, Tam is actually innocent and doesn't know about it. They played it nicely to at least make sure that Tam still is in the oblivious world of, oh, the First Order is cool and they're here for the Order and they're actually not really the bad guys that are about to blow up several planets.
And
Also,
I have. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was saying, in case, as a canon junkie, when you were seeing all of Agent Tierney's scenes, did you get any Ray Sloan vibes out of her? Because I
Yes.
totally did.
Yeah, I definitely thought this is related to, well, either Ray Sloan or damn it, Iden Versio or yeah, just any of those type of characters.
Touche.
Because that actually that relates back to the Empire. They look alike, but also just the way they act. Yeah, it's definitely like them. Considering, well, Ray Sloan got to be Grand Admiral after the Battle of Endor, and Iden Versio also got pretty far into the Imperial ranks. So yeah, I definitely got vibes of that, and it was really cool to see.
I have thoughts for when we get to closer to the end of this recap as to how they're going to fully get Tam on their side, because I know she's 95% there, but there's just like 5% left, and I have a theory. But moving on from that, so we see the rest of the crew being CB23, Kaz, Niku, and Yeager. They're making a break for it. They get cornered. The entire time they're running, Niku still doesn't believe Kaz is actually a spy. He thinks it's a weird
It's not
joke,
a time to joke, Kaz.
which is yet another perfect Niku moment. I'm sorry for assuming he might have been the one who turned them in. Although, but yeah, I'm sorry for assuming that last week. It is what it is.
We still don't know why you did.
I don't know. I had a thought. I can't always be right. Always be right.
That's
Except with Whitney Seibold, but I can't always be right.
Make like Frozen, let it go, and continue with the rest of the episode.
All right. So the two kids, Ty and Ayla, is it?
Kel.
Kel.
Kel
and Ayla.
Kel. I'm sorry, I was thinking of the Orville for some reason. That's where Ty came from. But Kel and his sister, they drop them in through a hole in the floor. They save them. They take them to a hideaway. So they're essentially making a descent into farther down in the Colossus.
No. That's not the real descent.
I know that's not the real one, but I'm making a joke. So they try to come up with a plan of like, we need to get the communication systems working so we can send out a message to the Resistance, to Poe Dameron, and to Leia Organa. And with no other ideas, they're like, our easiest way to get to the antenna is to flood the entire Colossus and just swim up to the antenna, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard, but it apparently works.
It was so crazy that it had to. Like, this was one of those plans that you can get away with in a fantasy setting.
Yeah.
Because the kind of procedure that would have to go along with this level of plan, like it's something that's it reminded me a lot of. I know I've compared this show to Avatar a crap ton, but this is like another one of like another like Sokka moment, kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like this entire sequence was completely a Sokka idea, and that's why it worked so perfectly. Because most times his plans would just work.
Now, that's the thing. Like, he always comes up with a crazy plan, but he's the type of character that thinks outside of the box. And Cass has also gotten there, that he thinks outside of the box, that he knows that you need to pull off something crazy that people don't expect to actually make it happen, because he knows that the First Order is too well organized for simple, normal plans that everyone does all the time, because they'll be familiar with that. You need to do something completely nuts that no one would ever attempt, because that is exactly why the First Order is not prepared for it. That is because of the setting of the Colossus being in above the water and being able to go underwater. That is something that the First Order is not used to that, because it's never seen that before. That's why he's like, yeah, that will definitely work, and it does. Boy, it does. And by the way, the animation during that sequence when it sunk, Oh wow, it was gorgeous.
Oh,
I loved it, and
oh,
it just shows how beautiful the show really is.
yes.
The animation of the actual sinking itself is beautiful. But what's even more beautiful is the look on Tora Doza's face when she hears the suggestion from CB23 of we're going to flood the station. She's like,
Yes.
yes, do it. This is going to be the most awesome thing that's ever happened on this thing. Let's do it. And
Like,
her dad is just like, I
I,
don't like where this is
I
going, but we
swear,
have no choice.
Myrna Velasco just is a national treasure on this show because she has such an infectious energy, and this is coming from the voice. Sure, the animation also says that like Tora is excited for this, but if Myrna doesn't sell it through the voice, it doesn't work. And oh my god, I'm just like, yes, let's like she is down. Let's make this happen. This is gonna be a fun time, ladies and gentlemen. Woo!
And what's even better is when the actual sinking does happen, she's like, maybe this wasn't the best idea.
Oh, I can't imagine why you would say that, Tora. No, but what I liked a lot is the inclusion of CB23 in this episode. There are a lot of moments that she really shines and shows that she is actually very capable of handling herself and helping others out. We already saw that in the last episode as well, but this episode even more. Underwater with Yeager and Cass pulling them forward. Also, the beginning with she helps out taking out some of the stormtroopers, creating a diversion for them. So that just shows that as much as we love BB-8, there are others in Star Wars like this that are capable, that are likable. So yeah,
and
I
they
really
don't
love
have
that.
to be psychotic.
No. That's something for another time, Chris.
You know that actually brings up a good point. We mentioned Bucket earlier, and now we're mentioning CB23. Like the droids got some really heroic moments in this episode.
Yes.
And it's and yet again we just like in Rogue One with K2SO, we think we're going to get that sacrifice moment from Bucket. And of course, Case mentioned it earlier. We later find out he actually survived because of the turtle people. They helped fix him up. And so hopefully they don't string us around again like that.
That is the advantage of droids. And that's why I'm actually kind of glad that Bucket didn't kick the bucket here, because I would have been like sad, but I also would have been like, we didn't get enough time with him.
Yeah.
Like, this was his first moment to shine in the entire season. 18 episodes in, 19 technically, but 18 is what we go by. And this was his first like big shining moment. So I'm glad that he's still around, so we can hopefully do more once we get into season 2.
True.
Absolutely. But getting back on track, the Colossus is now flooded. Doza, Captain Doza specifically, does a great job of like playing it off with Pyre. It's just it could just be flooding damage. That's what's wrong with the antenna. But no, Kaz, Yeager, and CB23, they all swim up to the antenna. They send out their communication to the Resistance, and stormtroopers come in. And Yeager does the noble thing. He sacrifices himself, pushes Kaz right back into the water. CB23 follows. They escape, but Yeager gets captured. So, and you know him. They actually saw him helping Kaz and doing what he's
shooting at them. Not to mention.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's going to be in some serious trouble with the First Order as we get to next week's finale. That's for sure.
To go back to very early reviews at the very beginning of the season, Chris and I were pretty much in agreement. Yeager's probably going to die at the end of the season, and this is what is going to happen. He is in their custody. He can talk or he's going to die, and he will never talk. I know Yeager is not the kind of character that would just spill out information and talk. He is going to honorably die, keeping his mouth shut, which is going to kill me. But yeah, it's his character, I think.
That is his character, but now that I think about it, I don't think this is when he craps out yet. And there's one big reason for that. And I'm actually going to go all the way back to the very first trailer for Resistance we ever got, that 3-minute sneak preview. Now, there was a scene between Poe and and Yeager when they're both flying together, and we never saw that.
Hmm.
So you think what we saw could be like a scene from the final battle where
Yeah.
they're flying together and
Because
Maybe.
even though and we'll get to Leia's message in a moment, but I think there's a way that Yeager could still get out of it this time. Out of this particular encounter with the First Order. Not necessarily in the future, because yes, I'm still very much on the he's dead train, but not yet.
Not quite yet. All right, fair enough.
Okay, and now for the final points of the episode. What happened with the message? So the message actually makes it through. That's the good thing.
Yay!
It's the most important thing.
The bad thing is that Leia can't actually send anyone from the Resistance to help on the Colossus. Why? Because The Force Awakens is starting right as this is going on. And now for the medium news. The pirates with Sonara intercepted that message. So will the pirates help them? Will they try to get back with the First Order and make another deal?
Look, Sonara,
Pirates are tricky that way. I'm just saying.
Sonara is probably going to play the pirates in convincing that because of what is happening, because of that message, she's like, oh, this might be the perfect opportunity to raid the Colossus where everything is just chaos and we can attack now. Because Sonara, what she really wants to do is help her friends who are still there. Which will hopefully eventually lead to them getting off the Colossus, getting to the base of the Resistance that Leia mentioned. So yeah, that's really what I think will happen. And of course, it will be a great battle to actually get off the Colossus. It will be a two-parter, which we have left. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm going to look forward to it. I do want to say there was, by the way, a moment in the episode of Torah to continue our ship theories, where Torah was concerned for Cass at one point, for Cass. She said something along the lines for Cass, and the way that she said it, I was like, yep. I like it. I don't know exactly where it was, but I was like, it's in there. I need to mention it. I love it. So
I think it was right when they had revealed that Yeager's crew were spying on everyone. Like when Pyre comes into the office, because she had the hunch the most that Cass was the spy. So when she hears, oh no, Yeager's crew is about to be apprehended, she's like, oh no, they found out Cass is a spy. Something I knew several weeks ago.
Months.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yes. But let's move into final thoughts now. Chris, I want to hear from you first. So with everything that happened with this episode and with the two-parter finale coming up next week, give me what's going on in your brain.
I'm excited. I am absolutely stoked for this finale because this season has been nonstop really, really good. A lot of great episodes, a couple of not as good episodes, but we got those out of the way already. And we've now just been building up and building up and building up. And this is the kind of storytelling that I just love and adore, especially from a series that takes itself as seriously as Star Wars Resistance has. So this was the perfect primer to get me jacked for next week when all hell is going to break loose. It's going to be a free-for-all on the Colossus. And, of course, I'm still convinced we're going to Starkiller Base. I'm still convinced. And it's going to be great.
You know, there is a possibility for that because Leia does send Kaz the coordinates to the Resistance base. And so who knows, maybe the Fireball crew actually does make it to the base and they're part of the fleet that attacks Starkiller Base. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, we could probably end up getting that saved for season 2. Just because, like, Can they really fit something like that in with 1 hour of a show to go?
Well, I don't think they can include them in the Battle of Circular Base, mostly because we see most of the pilots in the movie. So I don't think, seriously, if they were actually in the battle, we would have seen them in the movie. So that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I'm just extremely interested in how the events will overlap, because we've seen the broadcast. We know that Hux's speech will be given in either part 1 or part 2 of that finale. So that means that then Hosnian Prime will get blown up. Which, by the way, we got yet another mention of that today. Is Cass's home planet? That means something to him.
Oh, and shoot, his dad's dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. His family is going to die, and it's probably going to cause a big reaction out of him in the next episodes. So I just can't wait to see how that unfolds, what the crew will do, and how it will play into The Force Awakens in terms of like how involved will we be, or will we be separated and really follow the crew on its own. I don't know. I just know that I'm excited for it because, the show has been really building up to this moment, to the moment that we finally get that 2-part finale. I hate IMDb right now because it is saying that part 1 is next week and part 2 is the week after. Like, seriously?
No.
We need to wait a week between episodes?
No.
I hope not.
Please don't. Please don't. Unless you're
but,
both 44 minutes apiece, please don't.
Yeah, no. But I'm very excited for the rest, because there are a lot of things that could happen, that should happen, that will happen. It's just very exciting.
And as for my final thoughts, we're definitely going to get some serious battlage in the air. We're going to actually get some resistance. Not in terms of like the actual resistance, but we're going to see some resistance from the people on the Colossus. Because the First Order has pretty much just made their presence known in every which way possible, and the people feel it, and they don't like it. And this is where that resistance is going to take place. You mentioned some scenes from the trailer, a lot of which I've forgotten. So thank you for reminding me of some of the things that happened in that trailer. Kaz and Yeager actually flying together.
Yeager.
I'm sorry.
Never mind.
My ears don't work. But getting to my theory of what will be Tam's fate at the end of the season. We mentioned how she got the good cop treatment, and how she was quickly shown how her friends were liars to sway her even more in the First Order's favor. I think they're going to finish off the good cop treatment by offering her a piloting job, because what does she want to do most of all? She wanted to be a racer. She wanted to be a pilot. She wanted to pilot the Fireball and live out her dream. And so now the First Order is very much positive in her eyes. So how do you seal the deal? You offer her the opportunity at her dream job, which is to be a pilot for the First Order in this case.
That's a very good theory. I like it.
Okay. You've completely made up for last week's theory. We'll put it.
Of course, we'll see how it pans out. But
to be honest, that makes sense.
It's good.
And here's the thing: even if the heel turn doesn't fully cement, I still think the First Order is arrogant enough that they would give her a piloting job, thinking we got her on our side now. And if she's like, "These are my friends, I can't shoot at them," then she turns the tables on them. So there are several ways this theory could actually go, but I feel like she's going to get to pilot a fighter finally, after so many months of waiting to get to pilot something.
I dig it.
I like it a lot.
But that's this week's episode of Viva la Resistance. Be sure to click like, share, subscribe, tweet it all out to everyone. Share it on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to do with it.
And
but
comment
just make
your
sure,
thoughts on the episode that you had.
And spam it to Justin Ridge and Christopher Shine.
get as many eyes on what we're doing as possible. And with that said, Case Cornwall, I say, where can the good people find you?
People can find me still designing stuff for Chris's show that he's writing. I've been doing nothing else these last weeks. Other than that, you can find me on Facebook and Letterboxd Case Cornelissen. You can find me on Twitter at Dutch Movie Guy and competing at Multiplex in various matches.
Christopher Doman, where can the good people find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, and Letterboxd at Skywalker Doman. You guys can follow this very channel on Twitter and Instagram at D2A Channel. Please like our Facebook page. And, you can also find me over at Multiplex Entertainment competing in matches. I do have another fandom match coming up soon. And
you can't say who. You can't say who yet.
I wasn't going to say who. I was just going to say I had a match. Come on. Even I don't know who I'm up against next. I just know I have one coming up. So, yay. Finally, I'm back in singles. But Case and I, we also might be stretching our team's wings a little bit, if you know what I'm saying. But until then, that's going to be fun. And hopefully, one day, I'll get called up to the big leagues. I can dream.
You can dream.
We all can. We all can. We know I've been dreaming for the moon for the longest time.
I can also dream, even though I live a continent and an ocean away, but that's fine.
And you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nico Suave Regoli. That's NicoSuaveRegoli. You can find me right here on Dedicated to Art and all the places these two fine gentlemen said just a few moments ago. You can find me over on Combat Wrestling Network is the name of the YouTube channel. Combat Wrestling Trivia is the name of the Facebook group. I kind of created a Twitter. There were some issues. I got to get back to working on that. But we got a few of the issues fixed.
The story is gorgeous, by the way.
It is gorgeous.
Anyway, you can also find me on Multiplex Entertainment. That's the name of the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. The Twitter is at MultiplexYT. The Instagram is Multiplex Entertainment Network. The TeePublic is just Multiplex. Buy our awesome shirts. I had a Full Metal random match. It was all NXT trivia this past Wednesday. This next Wednesday, I've got Family Guy trivia in Full Metal Random. And finally, you can find me on the Schmodown Patron Discord server, where apparently I have to explain to everyone how all the fan leagues work now, which is a gigantic stress that I don't really want. But that was Case Cornelissen. This is Chris Doman. I'm Nico Regoli. And thank you all for watching. Once again, Viva la Resistance.
May the Force be with you always.
Yeah!